Hey Sedge, what are we working on today?
What a character.
That's me.
Okay. I don't want to go into the proper push stick that you need, because you're going to need in your shop a lot of push sticks. And we're going to do a whole video on, it sounds funny, safety at a table saw, bandsaw, but your number one thing is your push stick. Okay, and it's a variety of different things. There's push blocks and there's push sticks. What you just held up is a push block, and this is about the best one I've ever used. I actually at work have a different version of this. This is by Gripper, right? Micro jig. Phenomenal, phenomenal. It all has to do with this material that they use, and we'll go over that more and more. Okay. Then there's a push stick too. Alma made this for me. From Pink Soul Studios. You'll see it right here, and it's made out MDF, but it has that hook you need to push things through a table saw. Actually, you can actually hook this like this and push things through a bandsaw because of that hook.
Oh, cool.
In other words, what a push stick does is it keeps your hands away from some kind of blade or tooling. Okay, now over the years I've used this style push stick. They're very simple. I think they're $10–15. You'll see where I just got a new one because this one has done its job. You see how it's all chewed up? Okay, guess what's not chewed up are my fingers. And when I teach you table saw safety, the one thing before you turn on a button, and I'm very adamant to teach people this when I teach them how to use a table saw, because it's an easy saw. You shouldn't be afraid of it. You should just be in respect of it. And I will never turn on a table saw without my push stick. I go like this to make sure my push stick is in the right position. You don't want to have to reach for it. The thing I like about this, and it may be a very simple design, but it works and it's comfortable in my hand. But it also has this hook right here that I can hook it on my table saw. So nice. It's always there. So instead of you going to buy one today, we're gonna make one.
All right, let's do it.
But what's really important about it is somebody may be watching and going, you gotta be kidding me. He's teaching Big D how to make a push stick. But as you watch this video, what's really cool, as I was going through it yesterday, I'm going to teach you so many cool things. I'm going to show you how to use a bandsaw, okay, or not elaborately. We'll do videos on that as well. You'll get to see my 1968 Delta Rockwell. You get to use it today, but I'll show you some tips and tricks on doing it and how to pre-cut or curve cut on it. But also, we're going to use Spokeshaves. And we're going to talk a lot about, because we're going to start with this scrap pine that I have, okay, this is our template, okay, that we'll trace it out, but you'll also see how we talk about grain direction. And somebody asked me, hey, what do you use a Spokeshave for? And I use the Spokeshave for this. Okay?
Okay.
So let's get to it.
All right, let's do it.
What we're going to do is I got this scrap piece of pine here, 1x4. And yeah, we could take that and cut that notch out, but let's just do this. Let's get it right here, and I'm going to start it with my pencil. The nice thing about this is I can extend the lead and trace it, and what we're going to do is I'm going to trace part of it. I'll have you trace the rest, okay, but leave the notch out for now. Okay.
I think we're good.
You think you're good? Let's look. Cool. And when we go to the bandsaw, we'll do the notch afterwards, but I'll just do that like that. Okay, so that makes it easy. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to take it over to the K-Pex. You'll cut that off and then bring it right to that line, okay? That'll make it easier before we hit the bandsaw, so let's do that.
Let's do it.
Good cut. It's about the best one I've ever seen. We're over here at the bandsaw, okay? Whew. And important, I tuned it up yesterday. I wanted to make sure we're gonna cut it at 90. We'll go through all of that, okay? Now, we're a little bit huddled around here, and I'm getting a shadow right here. We can see this with these great LEDs we have from American Green Lights, okay? But I want to teach you a few things about cutting, and I call it curve cutting, but it's actually relief cutting.
Okay.
So a bandsaw, you can actually move your board. Now, I got my guard down here. I lift it a little bit up so I could see that we could see the line. You'll see the shadow cast. What's important is I always think when I'm at a bandsaw for safety, okay, this area is, my hands go nowhere near there, okay? This zero clearance, which is, no, this is an old bandsaw and I gotta make some new zero clearances. These are usually red and there's a reason. This is usually red. So it's a signal to your head, I'm getting too close to the blade.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some cuts, but then I'm gonna show you a few things, and I'll have you do some cuts.
Sounds good.
Okay, so have you ever used the bandsaw before?
I was in 7th grade, Mr. Morgan's shop class.
Nice.
1995, I think.
Okay, so we're gonna turn this on, but what I want to do is I got this magnetic light that I like to bring right in here to be at an angle so I get a better angle. I kind of don't want to look into the light, but I'll adjust it. And I can put this all over this, this steel here, so it makes it really nice. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on. let me hit the breaker first. I always turn off the breaker for safety. Okay, so as I'm cutting this, okay, or as we're gonna cut this, I'm gonna have you cut this after I do some cuts in here, just so you get used to it. And there's a reason I have this pencil here, because as I relief cut this and start to cut it, I'm gonna have some cuts get in the way, some offcuts. See this little eraser? I can push them out of the way and my hand doesn't get near them.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I always have one of these handy. So this is how it goes, and you're gonna see it's like butter. I'm gonna bring it close to the line like that and back out. Okay? Here's the critical part, because if you see in here, and you'll see this when you're using it, this is where your finger's gonna go. So just be very careful with that. The one area we're going to have a lot of relief cuts is right in here, because when we turn this circle, you'll see where this makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now, when we trace this here is the right angle. So I'm going to make those two cuts first, because that's what the hook is for your, you see how you're flowing? You can take as much time as you want. You can let go, because that blade is taking it right now. Just like that, and then I'm going to come in here just like this. Always making sure my fingers are not close to the blade. Okay, now, see this? Watch. I can just take that and move it out of the way. Okay, so it's not there. So I'm gonna do another relief cut right in here at the apex of that little swoop. So I can take it just like this. Now there's a lot of times when I'm doing this, there's a lot of times where I'll cut, or will cut close to a line. We don't have to be perfect. But this is a daggone push thing. I could actually cut into this. Who would care? Disposable. But sometimes we'll go an 1/8 away or 1/16. Hang on a second. 2 millimeters away. All right. And then we take it. We put it on a template on a router table.
Okay.
Okay. But this is a push step. So you'll see as I'm cutting with this. And yes, I've cut quite a bit on a bandsaw. It's just, to me, I love bandsaws, because you can do so much with them. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Let's get rid of some of these. Okay, and I can come in on different angles. So what I'm going to have you do, Big D, is I'm going to have you come in here, and I'm going to have you start to cut here, and slowly work to here, but just take your time, okay? So you get the feel of it.
Whoa!
I want to see something. Holy moly, is that nice.
Look at that.
Look at that, look at that. Hey, Mo! What's really important you should always do is turn on your dust extractor. I forgot. Okay, always remember with this. Okay, now we're gonna be turning the corner. I'll take care of this so you can feel it, and then maybe I'll have you come back here, okay? But and actually I'm gonna bump it right there on the bump. That way there, when we come up, that'll go away, and then you can finish that. See how we got, and the light will show that there's this little wavering in here. That's where I stopped and started it or whatever. It's okay. I'll show you how to clean that up. Okay.
That's so good.
It's okay, watch. This is the beauty of a bandsaw. And once you get good with this, remember, it's a push stick. You could not make a mistake doing it. And by the way, that's why you buy really good bandsaw blades. And I will tell you, and maybe I can talk about bandsaw blades someday. Let's just turn it off. We're going to come back in a minute, so I'm going to show you why you need a decent sized notch here. These are Timberwolf blades, and they're the best blades. I've always used Timberwolf. You get them online, and they're worth every penny. And I had to have a special one made because this is an old bandsaw. Maybe I'll show you how to measure a bandsaw blade someday.
Okay.
Okay? And that's the quality of a good bandsaw. I think this was heading to the landfill, and I rescued it. But look, you see how it's still spinning? Or it was just still spinning?
Yeah.
Okay, the cast iron wheels are huge on this, and it's just all that momentum.
It's huge!
Okay, so I wanted to take a couple of seconds here to talk about, and we didn't draw it in here, is the notch. Because what the notch allows us to do, and follow me over here, Chris, is when I'm getting ready to turn on a table saw, like I told you, okay, my push stick is always here. I check first before turning it on. The nice thing about this push stick is, look, it hangs right here in that V groove. Okay, so yesterday, you remember I told you there's little nuances when people build things? That's built really well, and I learned a lot from it yesterday. Here's one of the prototypes I was making, and it snapped on me. Okay, well, let me just figure this one out right here. Look, because this is my second one I made, and I made that notch really tight. Okay, and here's the reason why. This grain, and the reason I chose pine, it's a good way to learn on a Spokeshave. See this? This is destined to break. It's still a good push stick because I could just leave it here or have a spare underneath, right? Okay, so this was my first one. I said, hey, I really like it, but I'm not going to break it. But look at it. There'll be a time where I reach for it, and that is, you can almost hear it breaking, right? That's why we need to make the notch a little bit wider on yours so it'll come right off.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds
or you
good.
may not have a place to store it like I do in here, but you may store it on your MFT. So let's make a wide notch on here.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take this like this. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna make a mark right here. Okay, so it's wide enough, and we'll go like this. Now, of course, somebody watching is going, man, that's really bad because that's destined to break. Yeah, this is a learning project, right?
Right.
On pine, and that grain's running that way. So let's take it out and let's just notch it real quick.
Notch it, baby.
Okay, so now we're gonna cut this knot. Okay, see how I went to the line? Then I'm gonna come over here. I really widen this, so you have plenty of room. So how do we cut that?
No idea.
Okay, so we're gonna be careful here, and we need to cut down to the line.
Okay.
Now you may say, hey, let's just take a chisel and cut it out, but no, I want to remove a lot of that waste. So I'm just gonna chuck it up here like this, so I have a good angle on it to chop it out. Get it in this vise, okay? And I'm gonna use this fret saw, coping saw, whatever you want to call it, frame saw, and I'm gonna come in here. It's got a very small, and I'm gonna come in here, and I'm gonna come at an angle to get most of it. See that? I'm gonna bring it right to that line. it out like that. Okay, and there's most of the waste. Good.
Okay.
How's that feel? You just broke it out. You get most of it. So how are we going to clean that out? Now think about it. If we left all of that, right? We'd have to chisel. Now we're just going to take that to the bench and just chisel it out. Let's bring it over here now. I'm going to pare that down. So we'll put it in with a holdfast like this. Okay. But I'm going to be chiseling down to here. So what I'm going to do is I'll lock it down so I don't cut into my bench. I just got a sacrificial board, and you'll just see as I do this, look, I selected the right chisel, so I'll just pare it right down. Just like that, and you just pare it right down and clean it up.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
That's awesome.
That's it. So what'd you think?
Not too bad, but now that we're all done, I feel like it's a little sharp. Maybe we'll clean it up a little bit. What are we gonna do to do that?
Okay, so, I forget what side I did. I think I did this. There's not a lot of marks. This side here. Holy mackerel. I'm just kidding.
That's.
You did a great. By the way, you did a great job on the bandsaw. You followed the line halfway decent. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, in here, maybe you've seen I have an oscillating spindle sander, and you can actually take that, and the oscillating spindle sander will just sand that all down. Okay, and then I know a lot of people will take a router to run it off, run it. So I thought I'd take the opportunity today to initiate you into Spokeshaves.
Oh, cool.
And everybody's, I guess you guys have taken pictures of Spokeshaves in my Spokeshave drawer. I have quite a few of them. A lot of them antique collectors. A lot of them got a couple that are beaders, and you know what? We'll go through that.
Sounds good.
Basically, an edge router for profiles. I can go through all of that with you over the years, but these are the two that I reach for all the time. These are a couple of Lee Nielsen's, but this is the one we're going to use today. You'll see a lot of chair makers use them for cleaning up milling marks and just shaping, overall shaping. So we're going to do that today, and I'm going to show you how all this works. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this one, and I'm going to show you how to set this up.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to bring it here because I like the height of this. I built this bench for this vise. Sounds funny, but I'm like that. I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to put it in here like this. And I think the easy one for us to start working, come over here, Big D, so you can see this. Okay, I'm going to talk, and this is the exercise I really wanted to go over with you today because you're going to start to read wood.
Okay.
Okay, you'll hear things like tear out. Why am I getting tear out? It's because how you're producing the blade to the grain. Okay, so let's look at this. I know if I come this way with it, you see this here?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull that. I'm going against grain. We're going to go like this. So I'm going to make a mark here. We'll go here. We're going to pull the Spokeshave here, or even push it, but we're going to understand our grain direction because we're going to be going like this. So I'll make an arrow like this so it's easier for you. Here, look, and through the course of all this, we're going to be going this way with the Spokeshave because we don't want to pull that and split that. Here's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll work it. And we're going to go in this direction for here. Over here, you'll see we'll have to shape it, but you'll see the grain now as we do the bottom. We're going to be going this way. That's about my halfway mark right here. And then we're going to be going this way with the Spokeshave. So it's pushing and pulling and understanding it. Okay. So I'm going to lock it in here just to show you the basics of it. And this is really a cool, fun thing to do because it's actually, there's not a lot of noise. It's peaceful for me. But every time I've seen people struggle with hand tools over the years, it's because one, you already know how to do it, sharpen it. Okay, it's not a sharp blade, it's not a properly lapped or honed back of the blade. Okay, but they don't know how to set things up. And this Spokeshave. Spokeshaves are really difficult. Unlike a hand plane. Hand planes are easy to set up the blade, the depth of the blade and everything. But this has, right here, because we're going to be following some curves, a slightly convex sole of your shave. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to hold it you can push it like this. But when I say it's difficult to set up, I'm gonna swing over here just really quick. I was thinking yesterday how I was setting this up, and it's just because it's just the use over the years of understanding it. When I test it, I know I'm gonna get too much pull with it, so I gotta go back and readjust it. But once you set it up and tighten it up, it's good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it up here, okay? And I want you to see this right here. And the best way to see it is on a white piece of paper. And I don't know if you're gonna see it, but I always have a piece of paper. And this is right here. You see that, right? And you can make it even, okay? I always bring it right here like this. And the thing is if it's cocked, and I'm gonna bring this out so you can see it, that's cocked like that, okay? It's getting the right visual on it on the background of that paper. So what I'll do is I'll do an initial setup, and I use I'm very cautious, but I set it up with thumb pressure in there. I bring it back and forth, and you see how it's uneven here?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I can adjust it like that. See that?
Yep.
I want even spacing for my throat. Okay, and I'm gonna tighten it. I'm gonna check it, not here, but on the side, because this is how you're gonna get your, see how that just comes off?
Oh, wow.
And that's a little thick, but I may try that a little bit. So when I'm holding this, I'm either pushing or pulling, but there you go. And that's how you're gonna shape the sides. And you see how, come feel that and feel that. Good?
Oh yeah, that's
okay,
night and day.
Hopefully you'll see this as that mark comes in here. See that? It's just pulling it towards you to get rid of those marks, and you can actually almost scrub it in here. Now the thing you got to remember is you're going to be constantly cutting that or cleaning it out, the throat. And what I'd like to do too is, here's another tip for you, because I'm gonna start on here and then work back in here this way, is I like to always have a little bit of wax handy on that so it flows a little bit easier. And we got a little bit of work in here, but you'll see how it starts to shape and give you a really nice, and I'll work into it like that. See how that's starting to smooth out?
Oh wow.
Always clean it up, but, and this is one of my favorite spoke shaves just to clean things up. So this is why you create an arrow here for grain direction. All right, because now we're going to push this. I always like to, when I'm pushing it, I always like to feel where my edge is and just bring it in like this and start to work an edge. And I think this is going to be good for you as you come in here to do this, but it's just a very light touch to come in and do this. So once you come over here, Big D, and get this over here, and you're going to be pushing it, and you'll feel it.
Okay. But it's
You're just gonna put it on that edge there and push it.
There it is.
Got it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you gotta be careful, and let me just show you, because I'm looking at a different angle. You see this? You're starting to hit this. Always remember, pull it towards you to get it. You gotta clean out the throat. So when you come in here, you're gonna start like this, okay? And then you're gonna slowly work it to a bigger shaving as you do that.
Okay.
But once again, pull and clean that out.
Clean it out.
Because what you're doing is, you're riding on that wood. Okay? Yep, get the edge of it first, and then work it in. There you go. Anything coming out? There you go. You got it. There you go. Good job. Good. Okay, so you did a really good job. What you'll want to, this is the difficult part where the grain starts to change directions. So let's just ease up on it. We're gonna push it in like this and just clean it up until you start to see tear out in the, okay? Did a good job here. But I'm always using my what, Chris?
Feeler gauges.
Feeler gauges to feel that. And also, let's just take this out, and how does that feel in your hand now?
That's nice. It, like the thumb rest hits right where it's supposed to. That's really nice.
Perfect. Perfect. So let's see how this comes into play over here. And there you go. And if I'm in a hurry, it'll come right off. So you did a really good job on that. Okay, so as you can see, look, this is all chewed up.
Yep.
Go ahead and toss it. All right, we don't need that anymore. This is your new push stick. So this, it felt good in the hand. I'll show you how to use this in an upcoming episode. But what I like to do, we get the majority of the shaping done. You learned how to use a Spokeshave.
That's cool.
And it'll be just the beginning. Okay, but you get all those milling marks out of there. You did really good. That's yours. I think that's the best. I'm serious. That's the best out of all of it. Okay, so what I always like to do is just do about 180 grit on there and just slowly take it down like this. If there's any harsh edges anymore, which there isn't, but that'll just make it really smooth. The part to concentrate is right in here, because that's where you're gonna be gripping.
Yeah.
And I know it's a simple Spokeshave, but I think you learned quite a bit.
Heck yeah, I did.
And it's the first time you used the bandsaw really since 7th grade.
Yep.
And learned how to use the Spokeshave, learned how to vise things up. And I think the overall learning experience on this is how to read the grain where you know you're going to get tear out.
Exactly.
Okay, you can make this push stick out of a variety of things, a variety of materials. A lot of people choose MDF, a lot of people choose plywood, but I chose it because I wanted to teach you how to use a Spokeshave. So,
Cool.
as we always say at the end,
Be positive
and stay sharp.